Shalom, shalom uvracha, everyone! I am Rabbi Sol Solomon, leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York, and I want to wish all of you a very fruitful and fulfilling holiday time. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you for Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. I had something of a transportation difficulty. I was visiting another temple in Baltimore, giving my holiday spiel to a gang of Reconstructionists. It went great, but the night I was supposed to come home, Hurricane Isabel hit the coast, and that was it for 3 days. By the time I got back to Amtrak, my half-price bus ticket was expired, and those bastards wouldn't honor it. This despite 2 consecutive hours of shouting on my part. I finally convinced them that I had to be back at my temple for services, so they let me ride in the dining car. Still, those bastards purposely put me near the sausages and ham croissants. I don't care if they're in little plastic baggies, it's still too close for comfort. So, I missed the 2 big fall holidays, the New Year and Yom Kippur. Did you have an easy fast? Did you have a fast fast or a slow fast? I hope you didn't have a slim fast. Naughty, naughty. A beautiful 10-year-old Orthodox boy came up to me at shul at the end of Yom Kippur. I said, "Are you observing the holiday?" He said, "Rebbe, I haven't had a bite since yesterday." So I bit him. Ba-dum-dum! That joke went over so much better before the priests ruined it. But I hope you are having a sweet New Year and that you are observing the Jewish holidays. Now, we're in the middle of Sukkot with Simchas Torah coming next weekend. But there's another Jewish holiday we may be forgetting, because no one is sure if it is a Jewish holiday. Of course, I'm talking about Columbus Day. That's right, Columbus Day may just qualify as a Jewish holiday, and not only because all the stores mark everything 20% off. No, it's a proven theory that Columbus himself might have been a Jew. A secret Jew, perhaps, but a Jew, because his parents may have been forced to convert. Remember, these were the years of the Spanish Inquisition, which nobody expects because their chief weapon was surprise. Or was it fear? Anyway, outwardly, of course, Columbus was of the Christian faith. But there is ample evidence to suggest that under different political circumstances, the Spanish explorer and Italian legend would instead have founded the first kibbutz. He would have founded it in Greenland, but that's another story. So forget the books and textbooks we've read about Columbus. Forget the poem that goes in 1400 and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you the real story, the true Columbus epic. It's a little poem that I call Good Boy Columbus. And if you're still convinced after hearing it that Columbus was a shagitz, well, you probably put mayonnaise on pastrami. So, for the rest of you, sit back, relax, put your feet up, pay attention, goddammit! Here's the real story, the Jewish story of Columbus and his journey through life and around the globe. In 1491, Spain told the Jews, "Get ready to run. You're gonna get killed, you're gonna get hurt. If you wanna stay here, you gotta convert." The Inquisition was in full blossom, so all the Hebrews were playing possum. With guns at their heads and knives at their chest, they crossed themselves and hoped for the best. While martyrs' mothers cried and grieved, they made believe that they believed. They accepted Christ and the title Converso, but underneath, Jews were Jews and vice versa. Because when you're at the mercy of a Torquemada, a life lived in secret is better than nada. And yet, the government still feared conspiracy. They sent out tribunals to flush out heresy. They tortured and burned every man, girl, and boy who once was a Jew, but then turned to Goy. The non-converted Jews, though, still under suspicion, were not so affected by the Inquisition, that is, until the following year, when Spain's true colors were made quite clear by King Ferdinand, a miserable fella, and his bitch of a wife, Queen Isabella. In 1492-ish, Spain expelled everyone who was Jewish. 150,000 left Spain and never touched a flan again. By the middle of summer, all the Jews had vanished. They turned Portuguese, where once they were Spanished. And yet, the day after the Hebrews were gone, who should show up but Chris Colon? That's a Jewish variation on his real name, Colombo, and the clues that he's Jewish are truly jumbo. First of all, the dates he used. All biblical references used by the Jews. Second of all, the day he left was the 9th of Av, on which Jews are bereft. You want more proof? Well, here it gets better. At the top of his mail, he'd write 2 little letters. The Hebrew letters, Bet and Hey, with the help of God, is what they say. But some are not convinced by this. After all, why would a landsman be named Chris? Perhaps his parents were converted Moranos, putting borscht and chopped liver in their mole poblanos. I realize that's Mexico and not Mallorca, but what do you expect for free, Lorca? Anywho, Columbus, the convert, didn't get frantic. He asked for 3 ships to cross the Atlantic. Said Queen Isabella from her place in the palace, "Go find the New World with Spain über alles." And so he embarked in a fine Spanish galleon, which makes you wonder why Columbus Day is Italian. And what about all of Columbus's crew? Since they were expelled, they were likely Jews too. They sailed out of Lisbon singing Dayenu on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Moshe Rabbeinu. In October they landed on a place cold and windy. Said, "Wrong way, Columbus, this must be the Indies." Naked savages came out to greet them. Columbus's crew thought the Injuns would eat them. But Christopher said, "Look at the riches they've got. We'll make them love Jesus, whether they like it or not." For the country of Spain, he claimed this new world, and the Indians cried because they knew it'd be spoiled. For they were now slaves with Columbus the master. He founded a colony, a total disaster. So after a while, Chris gathered new ships, and over the years he made 3 more trips. He couldn't find India, he couldn't find China, he couldn't find hairs on a woman's vagina. Nevertheless, Columbus made history by making the New World less of a mystery. In 1506, old Chris passed away. He was nearly forgotten, the history books say. But now we revere him for never quitting, despite omnipresent anti-Semiting. But he persevered through courage and prayer to discover America, which was already there. So go shop at White Sales, watch the parade, or look at the mess of this country we've made. But kindly remember, be you left, right, or middle, that the man who made it happen was without doubt a Yiddle. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you learned a lot from my little ode. And whatever you think about Christopher Columbus or Columbus Day, you will reflect a little on what it means to be an American, and what it cost us and the people we stole America from to have what we have now. I also hope that if you're Jewish, you're celebrating the fine holiday of Sukkot. It's a holiday of harvesting and feasting and commemorating the years of Exodus after the Jews left Egypt. It's a time of celebration, culminating in Simchas Torah, where we finish reading the 5 books of Moses, and then, at that very moment, start reading them all over again from the beginning. And you wonder why Jews are irritating. But you know, it's a happy holiday, so I'm going to leave you with one more little poem. Kind of a limerick for the festival holidays. I hope you like it. Here it goes. In order to brighten his sukkahs, Reb Mendelssohn hired 3 hookers. They pulled on his payas and sat on his face and jammed an etrog in his tuchus. Thank you very much. Well, I see by the turning of the digital scroll that it's time for the rabbi to make like a lulav and wave goodbye. I wish you all, Jews and non-Jews, a happy and healthy autumn, a fine and productive week. On behalf of myself, my dear wife Miriam Libby, and our children, Nehemiah, Josiah, Shlomi, Chana, Rivki, Yehuda, Moish, Yechezkel, Baruch, Avigdor, Yisroel, Hepzibah, Shaul, Aliza, Shimon, Gedalia, Naphtali, and Fred, by my first marriage, and one more on the way. This is Rabbi Sol Solomon saying, Shalom Uvracha, from every one of me to every one of you.